you introduce us or whenever? Doesn't matter.
All right, yeah, we're all set. Yeah, so pretty soon what we're going to do is I'm actually going to do through Zoom. We're going to do the shows through Zoom. The speakers call in.
Hey, I just created a professional Wix site for my business. Let's check it out. Go to Wix.com. There are hundreds of beautiful templates. Choose one that fits your business the best.
Professional Wix. There you go. All right. All good now? Sounds good? Hopefully. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, I can hear you. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go on mute.
Quality production around here. Quality production. All right. So let me fix one more technical issue. That way I can get this shit out of the way.
Amazing production value. Ted, are you the executive producer?
You're over here so he doesn't get fined.
Nah, yeah, I'm just a sidekick. I show up for the beers once a year.
Oh, man. All right. There you go.
Show up for the beers once a year.
I'm getting a lot of feedback, so let me get out of here and try again. I'll come back in, okay?
There you go.
Yep. Got to remember to mute YouTube.
Okay. How's that? Holy hell. So the reason why I show these live is just to show everyone, hey, you don't have to be perfect to get out there and do stuff. With that being said, hopefully now all the audio is good, all the video is good. Patrick will be back in a second. It's here. The world is good. So with that being said, welcome to SEO This Week, episode 124. Today we're going to be talking about link building, and then we're going to go over Ranking Factory. It's software that a lot of people have been talking or asking about. With me is Patrick. He'll be back here. He's fixing his stuff. And then Terry Samuel. Say hi, Terry.
Howdy.
Terry is he's a user just like me, but he also has a mastermind where he helps people navigate through some of the tools that Patrick and his crew made, as well as you got some other stuff in there too. You talk about just not only the Ranking Factory tools, right? Some other link building methods, etc.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And
there's maps hijinking, but
yeah, Maps was big. That's really how I found these two guys. Is they started posting some crazy ass pictures of Maps rings and all that other stuff, and I was like, ooh, that attracts me, you know. So I bet you I can make some of those. So that's how I found these two guys and how I started using their software. Just a lot of it made my life easier. So we'll go over Ranking Factory as soon as we get through the news. Terry will show you how to make S3s. And then he will show you how to do it in Ranking Factory the automated way, which is pretty cool. And I have some questions too because I'm still learning just like everyone else. And as always, we're accompanied by Ted. How you doing, Ted? Say hi.
Oh, doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How is the Cora 5 still going on? I see you put out new updates, but that's slowed down significantly now as everything fine-tuned.
Yeah, it's stabilized a ton. Still looking into smaller tickets for people, so I imagine another week of that. But right now, at its current state, it seems like it's more stable than Cora 482, which is really good.
Oh, nice. Yeah, my journey on software, that was we got that anchor text analyzer. That one's almost done. We just have to work with Ahrefs now and get that part set up and the servers and connections and licenses. I'm kind of excited about that. It's a good project. And with that being said, you can see I'm running behind, so there's no link in the description just yet. Once you see the recording, now you'll have it all up. You'll be able to see all the news. And the news includes 5 articles. We're search engine journal heavy lately because there's been a lot of writers actually putting out good stuff on there. So typically the in-house writers, some of their stuff I don't agree with. You're wondering where the hell that came from, etc. But there's some good tips this week, and I wanted to share them with you because I'm a Google Data Studio fanboy, and there's some other stuff in here that I think you're all going to enjoy. And the first one is how to forecast SEO potential with Google Data Studio. In here, basically, what it's doing is showing you how to take your analytics information and hook it up with this little template that's provided right here. There's a link to click. You connect your data sources, and out comes this pretty little graph that says where everything's going. I like it. I think it's helpful, and it's good to show your intent of why you're choosing, X, Y, and Z, why you're working on etc. So I would check it out. Again, it's free Data Studio template. You just plug it in, plug in your data, change it up as much as you want to. We've created entire reports for clients using Data Studio, and I think you'll enjoy it. If you watched SEO Fight Club when Ryan was on, he's got a great case usage for Data Studio as well. You check it out at the blueprint.training. Okay, the next one is how to mine the SERPs for SEO content and customer insights. Mining is really important, and I think this, to me, this should be part of your keyword research. Terry, I don't know how fast. I know you go really deep into keyword research, especially when you're building your mass stuff and going after long tails, support your broad tails. But I think this might be something that would be useful for you guys. And Patrick, if you get, if Chris is bored, this is probably another tool right there. And that'll go through. And basically, it just shows you how to run Python. Don't get scared. Don't get freaked out. Everything is all right here in this Dropbox. And you run Python, and you just go through and you scrape data. And it teaches you a lot about what people are doing. And if you're a Quora user, you can combine both of these sets of information and come out with some really good stuff to go ahead and process your websites and make them a lot better. If anything, you get a lot of supporting content and stuff. So you can go ahead and go through this post. It's really detailed. I went through the process. It took me a little bit of time, but I'm a big dumb monkey. So I'm sure all of you are smarter than me, can figure it out a lot faster. And again, if you can make a tool to do this on the fly, I think that would be awesome. So I would check that out, Patrick. It might be in the next factory, research factory. Let's see. How to predict organic methods of traffic. This is another one that's good for reporting. A lot of clients, I don't know, Patrick and Terry, if you guys are dealing with clients, but when we deal with them, month 1, 2, and 3 are pretty scary for them because they're like, oh, you're fixing my site, but I'm not seeing anything, and I'm paying all this money, and I'm not seeing it. Why are you doing it? And this one really helps answer that question, especially if they have existing traffic already. At the end of the day, there's 2 different methods you can do. You can do this method here using R and R Studio if you want to learn how to play with that. Here's all the code to fire all that up. And that's what you get. And it's just a little graph that says, this is the goal. This is what we're looking forward to. And then the CTR method using Search Console, pretty much the same concept. You're just kind of saying, hey, look, this is what we're trying to achieve. CTR, I don't know, Terry, Patrick, do you guys use a CTR in Search Console? Do you let that guide you in what you're doing?
I look at it. I don't. It's not a major determining factor, but it definitely gives you some insight sometimes. Some clients more so than others. I don't, but
yeah. What I find is, especially in niches that I'm looking at, you can get in the top 3, but if your CTR is registering as horrible, then you got some work to do. And mainly, it's title tag and meta description. You're trying to find ways to grab the thing. So that's how I use that. I'll look and see who's in 5 to 20. Those are my quick win sites, the pages. Those are the ones I want to rank right away. And then I'll look at the CTR in 1 to 3 and see if there's anyone below 15%. If they're below 15%, then I'm doing something wrong. So I should be shooting around the 20 percentile range is what I want. And that's how I use that data. So that's pretty good. And clients like to see shiny graphs of data. So if you can put these together for yourselves, I think it would be a good one. I don't know if this could be a ranking factor thing, but I got a spreadsheet guy that we could probably leverage this with a little bit and put together something that would really help out the community. So again, this is a really good post. Like they've been putting out some great tip posts lately. Hey, Ted, I don't know if you know this, but title tags matter, and so do links. And Google finally, said it. So.
Wow.
They finally figured it out, did they?
If Google said it, it can't
Tune into SEO this week to get the latest, greatest SEO news.
I know. If it wasn't for my show, you guys would never known that.
All we have to do is create something like that to get viewers and click-throughs.
Yeah, I guess. And this is what we gotta do. To me, I think he couldn't have picked a better GIF. Really, there, like, duh, you know what I mean. And some people just have a lot of problems with that. One thing I wanted to point out, I don't know if you guys watched the show, but Ted certainly remembers. Last week, John Mueller said authority of a website doesn't matter. They don't track authority. And this week, he said it helps to spread signals like page rank throughout the site. So which is it, John Mueller? That's all I want to know. Right?
Well, it just goes to show that, they just talk to hear themselves talk. And so they contradict themselves left and right. So Gary will contradict John and vice versa. They'll even contradict themselves. So if 50% of what they say is kind of true and 50% of what they say is kind of false, it just means you can't trust anything they're saying.
Yeah. Honestly, I think at some point someone should give John some crib sheets, and this is the stuff he said last week, so that he doesn't contradict himself so close. If he had said that like 2 weeks later, I might not have remembered that, but it was like right away. So that was interesting to me. Link Builder's Guide, Matthew Woodward. I don't know if you guys follow him. Terry, do you follow Matt?
No.
He's got an excellent blog. There's some old stuff in here. He's kind of I think like before Brian Dean did the skyscraper evergreen stuff, Matthew Woodward was doing it and just didn't get a lot of credit. But if you want to know how to build an affiliate page for a product, if you want to, or anything for that matter, especially tools, follow Matthew Woodward's posts and his stylings, and they're really, really good. Anyway, I've been using, and Kyle Roof, he protests. He says you should be using the Google Apps. It's $12 for a business. You get emails, etc., and the bounce rates are really low, and they inbox. But I've been using that email for link building, mainly outreach through SEO Power Suite's Link Assistant. But you can do it with Gmail. You can do it directly in there. You can add some add-ons, make it a little bit more powerful, or you can push it through something like Milkshake if you're lucky and smart enough to buy one of those accounts. But Matthew here goes through all the different tools that you can connect to Chrome to make make Gmail actually work a lot better for you. Plan and schedule emails, find leads, spell check, etc. This is really cool. If you don't use any of those, I would check out Boomerang at a minimum. It's really cool, and it'll help you do replies. Like for me, I'll check my emails in the morning, and then I don't visit them again until the next day. Boomerang will be like your VA on the back end doing all that work for you. So if someone says, yeah, I'll give you a link, and then you have this, you have an automatic response, thanks very much, or whatever, to kind of move that conversation along so that it doesn't die on you before you can actually attend to it personally. So I would check it out. Also, sometimes, your first reach, you're not going to get an answer, especially depending on the email you send. If you look like an Indian, nothing against Indians, but if you look like an Indian in your email, most people are going to delete it. Where you can set this up and shoot different templates and test the one that's getting you the results and change around your flow. So this is a really good way to do that. So use Boomerang. Discoverly, I didn't try out. And what was the other one in here? Find That Lead. I've used that before too. That's actually pretty good. There's a lot of programs like that now that'll help you out, just kind of help you scrape emails and find people to reach. This is better if you're doing influencer stuff, and you know, like if you're doing a show like SEO This Week, for example, and you want to bring guests on, this is a great tool to leverage to do that. And then last but not least for the stories is SEO Power Suite. I've been using them forever. They just had a sale. If you missed out on it, just wait till Christmas. They'll come up with another one like 75% off. You want the enterprise version if you're handling clients. If not, go ahead and get one of the lesser ones and you'll be okay. But this one goes through and how to leverage some of the stuff like SEO Spyglass to find links. They updated that really well. I think it would probably be safe to say it is comparable to Majestic with the link quality right now. It's not AHF standard, but Majestic's, yeah, okay. And it's certainly better than just relying on Search Console. It'll walk you through the process of finding link opportunities, and then some other ideas that we all know. This is Link Assistant and how to set up guest posting. You can do all these different things. Typically, I use guest posting as a matter to build my list, and then I'll just send out an email literally just asking for a link. Hey, I'm an SEO. I wrote this post. I'm writing you for a backlink. And you'll be surprised at how refreshing that is, and people actually send you thank you letters and backlinks just for being different. But you can use that for, if you have topics or you have articles written or whatever for a specific website. That'd be really good. And you can also use it to find unlinked mentions. There's other tools that do that too. This one is just another way to leverage a tool that you got. So I would check it all out. It's a really good post. And that's it for the stories. I wanted to run through those really fast because Terry is going to educate us on creating S3s. And he's going to focus on S3s, but imagine you can do this in Google Cloud. You can do it pretty much anywhere. What are the other platforms that we're using in RFRs? Google Cloud, S3.
I use Google Cloud, S3. I use Microsoft's Azure, and I use Alibaba. Those are the four I use.
Yeah, Alibaba. You can also use pCloud if you ever figure out how to set that damn thing up, and you can figure out GitHub. Yep. GitHub's pretty good. I use GitHub mainly for some other stuff, but both of those are kind of a pain in the ass. So we'll focus on those four. So,
well, we like to cater to our customers, and if they ask us to do it, we put it in there, and then we tell them, maybe you don't want to use these ones.
Yeah, that makes sense. Those two had GitHub. Certainly has a lot of potential. I think it's because it's so policed, it might be a little bit harder to get away with some stuff.
Yeah.
But pCloud, that one, I think it's a good tool. I use it. I have like 2 terabytes of storage space over there now. So maybe we can figure it out one day and just kind of how to leverage that. But the point of this conversation is to do two things. One, to make you aware of Ranking Factory. It's a tool that I use. It's a tool that I encourage people to use because tools make our lives easier. And these guys created something to let that happen. And two is to not shy away from links like S3, etc., especially when you know your competition is doing it. If your competition is building PBNs, guess what? You got to build PBNs, or you got to shell out a lot of money. If your competition is doing S3s, you gotta know how to do S3s. You gotta be able to beat them at that game, because Google's not going to fix that for you. Links are not going away. I don't care what anybody says. The old search engines did not rely on links, and then they lost favor to Google, which did because their search results were more relevant. Now, if Google eliminates links, then now they have a relevancy issue, which is bad for them, right? So I don't think links are going away anytime soon. So we need to learn how to build them. And this is a great method to do that. And with that, I'll shut up and let Terry do his thing.
All right. Now, Clint, do you have it so they can see my screen?
If you mouse over your face, then
Excuse me?
get a green window with the arrow on the left-hand side. It says screen share.
Gotcha.
And then you can pick the whole window or a specific app, like browser you're working in or whatever.
Yeah. So you can see my S3 right now, or my Amazon Web Services.
Sure can.
Okay. Amazon's got a lot of stuff in here, and I use a lot of it. In fact, sometimes my Amazon monthly bill gets over $5. So that makes me a heavy user, I think. But if I go into the S3, which is their storage, their cloud storage, right? We know there's some authority with Amazon because they've been around a while. Let's see. If I go in here, and you can see an HTML file that I've uploaded to one of the buckets, which is just what Amazon Cloud calls their portals, where you contain anything you upload. You can upload PDFs, images. You can host WordPress up here if you want, but I'm just using it for HTML storage in this case. And if I click on this, we can see this is the URL of a property I uploaded for a client that, believe it or not, does concrete polishing. Okay. And this link links to, I believe, to their website. And then I have an article, typical stuff, NAP and a map. And if I click here, this is the source code for that. It's just HTML, straight HTML, which means it loads fast. Fairly simple to do if you know anything about HTML at all. We've got our YouTube embedded up here, the bulk of the article, the NAP down here, just showed you this is a Google map embedded, and some anchor text at the bottom. So I take this code and I just upload it to my Amazon Cloud, right? So this is the way I used to do it. I took that code, I uploaded it to Amazon Cloud, and you can see here, this is on my Amazon account. I can take that same HTML, and right here, this is a Google Cloud, but it's the exact same thing I'm uploading. So I'm just taking that code and uploading it to the different properties, because the cloud properties have value. They have link juice, except that in this case, I can set up so that this link, for instance, goes to my Amazon link. So now I've got a tier 2 pointing to a tier 1. Tier 2 is my Google, tier 1 my Amazon, and then goes to a money page or a video or an affiliate link, or any number of things that I want to, whatever I want to rank.
So that basic concept right there is what everyone refers to as a cloud stack.
Yes, it's just siloing properties, basically. And I can do the same thing in Microsoft's cloud, in Alibaba's cloud. Traditionally, most of the time, we used to build these properties and go, hey, look, I got a good link from an Amazon to my, my money page or my video, whatever it was. And then as more clouds, as we discovered, oh, look, there's another cloud. Oh, Google's got one, Microsoft's got one, Alibaba's got one, Intel has one now. But we thought, instead of just building a link from each of these properties to our money page, why not stack them? So make them your tiers, silo them, whatever verbiage you want to use. We're going to send a link from one to another, to another, to another, and then to our money page, whatever that is. And it's just, like I said, it's just straight HTML, which makes life easy. If you can write HTML code, great. If you can't, it's easy enough to go to any any website you see somewhere, view the page source, and then make your changes. If you don't want to do concrete polishing, you can go up here and, you know, change it. I use Notepad++ to mess with my code when I'm going to make changes, when I'm going to change, whether I'm going to change a link, whether I'm going to change, you know, any of my keywords, metadata, my NAP, the actual article, anything like that.
You're using like a regular, what I just call it is the base HTML page. There's no styling or anything like that. How far have you ever taken it? Have you tried to style it out to make it, you know, like let's say someone finds it, and it, you know, obviously these might convert. That might result in a phone call for you. So have you tried to see how far you can go to keep the ease of use, but create some styling call to action?
Yes. Yeah. I've like this is an Amazon, or this is a Google Cloud. And if I just earlier today, I uploaded this file, which will look amazingly like the others, right? And you can see there's a My Map here. Underneath it, this is a iframe of this same site on Amazon. And this, I don't know why it's not showing now, but is an iframe of their website. And it's not going to show now. And these are just some anchor text keywords down there. But yeah, you can iframe, to quote The Martian, you can iframe the shit out of it. You know, you can put in all sorts of stuff. I put, and I think it's a good idea to put the video front and center, just because time on page, people like to watch moving pictures and see cats playing piano and stuff like that. So they, you know, can watch a video and spend some time there. I try to format my article a little bit so that it doesn't look like just one solid paragraph. Center this stuff. Like I said, use the My Maps. You can use, you know, your GMB maps in there. I've done these a lot for GMBs. And you can iframe the posts from your GMBs or your reviews or your photos or all sorts of stuff in there.
Clint, probably one of the things that you're testing or playing with is you can take the iframes and the embed codes from Backlink Factory, and you can put those in here as well, creating a lot of that high power relevance, right?
Yeah, pretty much anything that you can iframe, you can drop in one of these. I don't want to give away.
That's one of the beauties of straight HTML.
Yeah. I don't want to give the theory away because that's Marco's and he's giving it away for his donation thing. And maybe if you guys have the link to that, they can reach out to you and get the link to that that series that Marco did to help those kids in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
To show you why doing that is so smart. But I think you know, take our word for it. You want to do that. If you want to know the why, then you should at least donate some money. Donate some money to some kids, and you'll get some good information from Marco.
Yeah, and we, especially last year, we found a lot of success with using these Google properties. And then so a couple of us said something to Patrick about, you know, this is something we need to put in Ranking Factory. And they've got a great coder there, Chris, so they did. And instead of taking the time to do an Amazon cloud, then copy the link from it, repeat into Google, but insert your Amazon links everywhere, and then go to Microsoft and insert the Google links from the one you just made, and then the same thing with Alibaba and stuff like that. Ranking Factory does it all for you and saves you a lot of time, which means you can take that time to be doing something else, whether you're watching a back episode of SEO this week that you missed, or doing work for clients, or just lounging around the pool.
Have you tested putting schema into these things?
I have lately, yes. That's the beauty. Like it said, you can iframe anything in here. Well, I mean, let's face it. This video is iframed in there. They call it their YouTube embed code, but it's just an iframe.
So I have a template that I use. Mine's really manual, but I have it built out so that everything is wrapped in schema. So that I would put the link, and I would put the video. That video is wrapped in video schema. Then I put the article. That article is wrapped in article schema. So you can really get crazy with these things.
And for the most part, after you do it once, you've got a template.
Yep.
You know, and then you're just, like I said, putting in maybe changing an article, or if you're going to completely a different client, you've still got the same template. It'll be a different map, a different video, different, you know, but you just plug it in and go.
Perfect. And Steve Buchanan, one of our viewers, he suggested mobilize.com as a program to create a website in HTML and then upload it, and it'll look fancier. So that's really handy.
Right. It's a what you see is what you get. Website builder that has lately. I mean, they've improved it a lot in the last year. It's got all sorts of. You bring in a box, different sections. Whether it's your hero panel, your headers, your footers, your images, videos, text content, you put all that in there, and it kicks out an HTML site, and then you can obviously drop that up in your clouds, change your links as you go, so you can, if you want to silo the clouds, which is again one way of getting more power. My last cloud in the silo between all the other clouds and the money page for me is always my Amazon cloud, because I have found in the past Amazon pages can rank. So, you know, might as well
Leverage them.
use them, you know, because if you can take another space from your competition while pushing your money page up, why not?
Yeah. Do you, this is probably a good transition to go to Ranking Factory, but let's say if I use Mobilize and like Steven said, HTML for dummies, which I certainly qualify. If I made a template with a program like that, can I use that? Can I pull that into RFR and have RFR start building my stacks for me using that one template?
Yes, you can. Let me just, this isn't Mobilize, obviously, but if I copy all this code from open tag to close tag, and this is Ranking Factory, okay, which has a number of tools in it. But if I'm going to use the HTML Creator Cloud Stacker, there's a place I can put in keywords. I can put in a target URL, my money page, a YouTube URL, any other embeds I want to do. I can put keywords in here for variations, LSI stuff. I can use spin text if I want, and then a basic article here. And then it goes to my HTML editor. And remember, I copied the HTML from that previous page. If I go in here and get rid of this stuff, and I just paste in that code I copied before and update, then that brings that page right in here. So that's all you do is drag copy and paste your HTML in here. See, there's the iframe of their website. And once you have all that in there and the way you want it, you know, you title it. And in this case, the title, you'll notice if I go back to the other pages, the title was Greensboro Concrete Polishing Services. And here, I'm going to change it to Concrete Polishing Services in Greensboro. Okay, so then it's simply a matter of going over here, deciding what clouds I want to use. So I'm going to use Amazon, Google, Microsoft's Azure, and Alibaba. And if I stack them, it stacks from the bottom to this one, to this one, to this one. And I can change the order as much or as little as I want.
Right.
So I'll move that one down a little if I wish. And then I pick a bucket, or I can simply type in a bucket name. Bucket names have no capital letters and no spaces, so they look more like that. But if I use the same bucket name in all of these, for instance, I don't need to create a new one. And then I would just click this button. Oh, well, excuse me.
So before you do that, go to the HTML editor.
Okay, hang on a second. I'm just going to put concrete in there. Okay, HTML editor. Oops.
This is the, let's say this is the template that I want to use. You put your HTML code in there. How does the software know where to put, like, the article, the title, all that stuff inside of the template? Do you use short codes?
It's in here. It's in the HTML. The HTML has it right now with this particular one, has it set so the video is up front, not just the video. I mean, it's actually got the code at the top of the page right there for the YouTube video. And see, then there's the title of the page, which we see in blue over in the page. A couple of breaks, and then it starts the all polished concrete increases in popularity. And if we look at the page, you'll see this. This is the title, the video. Then we have this title, a break, and then it starts that text right here.
You know what I'm getting at, Patrick, right? Let's say this is my template. I just created a template from Mobilize, and this is what it looks like. And I put it into RFR under the HTML editor like he's doing there. But I don't want to use that same content. I want to use the content that's in the page content wizard.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do I need to change in my editor so that I can do that? Does that make sense? Do I have to put short codes in there or et cetera?
No, well, you don't have to. You can, this tab right here is the HTML editor. But if I go back to the page content wizard,
The wizard page, right?
Yeah.
right, it's going to use what's in under the wizard. So I could put different content in here.
Right, but
Right now I put no content in there. So when I go back to the HTML editor, there's no content in there.
right.
So whatever content I put in there will be brought into here. Just for the purposes today, I didn't bring in other content, but I could because this will allow me to load up a previous cloud stack for something.
This is really a brilliant opportunity right here, Clint. As you well know, you build it once and
Boom! It just loads up something I'd done before,
Go ahead, Patrick.
and then I simply, when I go to this, it has it in it.
Right. Okay, so now we're there. Now you're using a basic HTML template. It says the article and all that stuff.
Right.
Let's pretend that that's styled out now. It looks good. It looks like a landing page because I use Mobi and I made it essentially a landing page. But I don't want to use the same content over and over again in my stack. So I feed the new content to the page content wizard like you did. How do I get RFR to change the content? You know what I mean?
I think I know what you mean. If I know what you mean, it's just a matter of what you put in here
Right. So
is going to appear in the HTML editor.
right. Let's say this is different from the template you just pasted in there. Let's do it just for giggles. Click on HTML editor.
And you want to change this right here?
Use your HTML edit button, the code button, and then paste in that other page. Yeah.
Completely?
Yep.
And then I'll click update right here.
Yep. And now it looks like it should probably look like the other one. So, all right. So now I have this. This is my template. Pretend it's pretty as a landing page, but this is different content that's in that page content.
Correct.
So I want it to change.
Well, believe it or not, the easiest way is just to go in here and go down to where you got the content
And delete it.
and paste it in there.
Okay. Yeah, so it doesn't. So there's a feature. There's a feature for Chris, Patrick.
Mm-hmm. So
if I give it,
you want to use the same content, or do you want to spin the content so that it's a little bit different?
well, let's say if I give it a template, and after he rips all that stuff out.
Yep.
Let's go here. So, concrete publishing services, blah blah blah. That's the same, right? And then underneath that, put a short code.
Mm-hmm.
So that the software knows where to put my new article.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Gotcha. You can keep this up here the same, your embeds the same, and use spin down in here.
Yeah. So that will create a new article, but it does not know where to place it in my template. It'll just put it wherever, okay, I'm going to mash it in here. But if I have pretty landing page style now,
sure,
where do I put it? You know what I mean? So
gotcha. Yeah, gotcha.
So that'd be a feature right there.
Sure.
Then I'll try and take this thing to the next level, because you combine it with something like Mobi, you make good templates, and then you add short codes so that you can bounce around and replace content. Like video, like go back to the HTML editor. And the video right there, let's say you don't have one video, you have 100 because you're using live streaming or whatever and fishing for keywords. You can spin that video URL to change that URL over and over again. But right now, RFR doesn't know where to do that. So put a shortcode in the HTML right there. And RFR knows to replace it with the iframe for that particular, and rotate through.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Because now, if you want to do that, you could replace the in the iframe code here with a spun iframe code, but you can't do it through the content wizard.
Right.
Yeah. So I just gave Chris about 3 weeks of work right there. So.
Yep.
Thank you, Chris. You're welcome.
As we say, make a video and send it, and it'll be done.
Right? It'll be pretty cool.
But for everybody that's listening, we have to understand the basic reason why we developed this was initially to get the links and the stacking of the links so that we get that power flowing up.
Oh, yeah.
And we weren't really necessarily concerned about how it looked until we found out that these are ranking.
Yep.
And so now that we're finding out that what we're doing is ultimately, like Terry said, they're getting ranked. Now we're getting can't we make it look pretty? Can we make it different? Can we use a different video? Can't we use a different, content or a different image or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so that will take it to the next level. But, in the first year of development, we're just really trying to focus on pushing that juice on up to your site, right?
Yeah.
So Terry, before, what I want you to also share with everybody is how easy, there's two things that are pretty simple here, Clint, you probably use them. And that is, you see the order on the left-hand side, the Amazon, the Azure, the Alibaba.
Yep.
Once you get this done and then you load it up again, all you really have to do is take any one of those and move them up in the sequence. Okay. And now you've got a whole different structure. Like, you can take and move that arrow up for Google. Terry?
Yeah, you end up with a different stack.
Now you end up with a different stack. And then you come back and do it again in another stack. And you come back and do it again and you have a different power stack. But
and once you've got the article in here, and the HTML way you want it, just clicking that button creates, there's your new page, there's your new page, there's your new page. And come on, Alibaba, you're lagging behind.
Wait till you get to GitHub.
Well, because here's our Amazon page that it created, the Google page, and the Microsoft Windows page. Did I have Alibaba clicked? Because I don't know why it's not. But at any rate, must have been. It's probably a bucket thing. That's usually the issue I'd run into with that. But now I have these three different links, and they're already siloed. Instead of me having to run this, then copy this and insert it in my HTML code, run it, and then insert that one, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I can reorder these. Oh, sorry. you know, and you can run them again and again. And because of this save and load feature, I can save that template if I want to use it again later.
Right.
Like in this case, I had changed the title on the pages from what they were. So now it's concrete polishing in Greensboro instead of Greensboro something or other. What was it? Greensboro concrete polishing services. So, but just that quick, you get your HTMLs built. And let's see, I'll go over here to, this is the Windows one. And if I click on the link, this is the Google one. So see the one siloed to the next. If I click on this link, there I'm to the Amazon one. And if I click on this, I don't know where it takes me. Okay, to the roofer from the other campaign. But
Right.
so the silo is just that quick, and because you can spin it, you can change the order, put a different title in, and boom, run it again.
What
And
do
then your only issue is indexing, and we all know that's a piece of cake nowadays.
Yeah, that was my question. What are you guys doing for indexing now?
We within Ranking Factory, we give everybody, we're using speed links because they were indexing pretty good. We give everybody 500 free links, to do that. But you know as well as I do, it's a daily battle to figure out which indexing service is working the best.
Yeah.
And we're just always trying to, look back and forth. I think right now we were looking at the crawler, not the indexer from SEO Autopilot, was doing fairly well.
Yeah.
And I punch mine in here in the mobile ready, and Google will tell you it's fetching the page to run the test.
And that was a good indexer for a while. They automated it, and then they put some good protections in there to stop you. So if you're building out like 10, 1,500 pages, that's okay.
Page is not mobile friendly.
Content wider than the screen. That's because I don't have I had the video set for 1280 versus 100%, responsive in the HTML. But
and I think we've seen other people, Clint, that are using YouTube in various ways to get indexing.
Yep.
Kind of a black hat way of getting it done, but it does seem to work as well. So we're in the lab trying to figure out a couple things that we can help with the indexing situation. I think what I'm testing right now is I'm using sitemaps, from our sites, and then putting in and running it through some of the RFR products and the backlink products to see if we can put those on Google properties and get Google to crawl them and ultimately index some of them that way, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
So we don't have any results on that yet, but maybe you do or don't use the other feature that people can't see up there, but does everybody see the translation on the top? So the translation is just another way for us to take what we've already built and turn it into more links, and also hit some potentially low-hanging fruit in your particular area, wherever your local is, or like if you're in Florida and you're in the landscaping business, using Translator automatically to do this and stacking the translations would be pretty powerful as well, Clint.
True.
Ted, what do you think about building these public HTML networks? They're not PBNs, but
well, I've always been a fan of like all kinds of microsites, like whether you're building your own tiny websites for cross-linking or PBNs, or these concepts of using stacks and the Web 2.0s. In terms of a lever you can pull that does appear to work, this is a lever you can pull that does appear to work. So my guess is until it doesn't work, it's probably a beneficial idea. One of the things I've noticed with stacks in general is they tend to be more effective when the competition is slow to mid. It seems like there's a critical mass of competition where it stops being a practical answer. What do you think where does that point of diminishing returns typically fall for you?
I've found that it works great with local, but again, that's a smaller market than a national or international client. With a national international client, I still use the clouds, but I use them in a different way. I do more mass page builds across every locality.
Let me share. I'm going to share one of mine. This probably give a little bit more insight into what I'm doing with these. And I closed down this service, so you guys can report me to Google if you want. Doesn't matter. So I'm not doing this service anymore. This is just one of my cloud stacks that goes. So this is pure HTML. I built it with Dreamweaver. Some of this is wrapped. I'm pretty sure this one is all wrapped in schema. So you probably plug it into the schema tool. Matter of fact, let me see if it still is. I'm not sure if this one is or not. But you can see it's formatted out like a website. And it'll do, it's pretty good, I think. I was ranking actually for a while for press releases in my brand before it fell out of the index. No big deal.
And on my map there.
Yeah, and I'm not really, so for me, as long as Google sees it and crawls it, then I know I'm going to get some benefit out of it, right? So that's why I just go with Colinkry. It's a crawler. It's fine with me, and I don't have to worry about the nightmare of indexing anymore. But this is kind of what I'm talking about with RFR. If I plug this HTML into RFR, where is it going to put my stuff, the new content? So if I have short codes in here, like this article is replaced with, paragraph 1 short code or article short code, and it knows to plug it in there. It knows where to plug the video in, etc. So this is probably a cool template for people to check out. Let's see. Yeah, see.
Yeah, because if you just take that raw HTML and punch it, you'll get that same page, but that doesn't allow you the changing the images or the
or any of that. So that would be a really cool feature. And you see, it's wrapped in schema, so it's thing. So
well, I think it's something that we could work on specifically with Chris to bring this to the next level.
Yeah.
From where it is right now, for sure.
It's, to me, it's a great tool. Terry, if you can bring RFR back up again.
And by the way, Clint, based on your suggestion, you do know that we have Conquer built into there, right?
Yep. And it's built into your other tools, right? Backlink Factory as well.
Yep.
That's a good one. I'm going to get Elias on here soon. He asked me to, I'll be speaking at a conference. He asked me to speak at his conference in next year, so that's pretty cool. So anyway, everyone, just so you know, there are more features to this bad boy. If Terry clicks on Toolbox, you'll see some other stuff that's in there that is great for link building.
Yeah, I think my share is frozen.
He broke it. He broke it. This is live.
Yeah.
So if you want, we can just kind of do a really, really simple highlight.
So here we go. Here's the toolbox you're talking about.
Yeah.
If you got
short URLs, a doc stacker which stacks Google Docs, Google Calendar Builder.
Terry, open up the tab. I mean, just open up the tab real quick so that we can just share how extensive this is.
And on all of them, we've got that save and load feature, so you can just load other stuff.
But we really tried to build this so that when you use these tools, they're very comprehensive and they really produce awesome results. There's also a little GMB stacker or GMB poster in there in this one as well. So
Blogger, if you want to go straight to Blogger,
The reason that we have Blogger as a trigger in here is it's a trigger for our IFTTT network, Clint, as you well know. So you can go directly from here with your content, with your post from your GMB, put it over into your Blogger, and your Blogger will trigger your IFTTT network.
And of course, Blogger is another place where you can put in straight HTML. So you could put that template that you build for the clouds in your Blogger or into a WordPress under using the text editor, not the visual editor. And in lots of places you could use that HTML once you've created it.
Let's see what else.
How about Sheets? With this one, Clint, you can tell them a little bit about what Sheets does here.
Yeah, Sheets is a great link building tool, especially when if you're building stacks, for example, and you build 100 stacks and you go through that process like Terry showed, where you're selecting one and moving around, you get a big collection of links eventually, and you can leverage those in Google Sheets and make those public. And then you can also iframe that sheet pretty much anywhere you want to, as long as it's, if the place accepts iframes, you can do it. For me, the Google Docs, the Sheets, and have always produced the best results.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, one that was better was Fusion, Google Fusion tables. Remember those?
Yeah.
Those were badass, but now they're getting rid of those. So, but Sheets is really good for that. Let's see, what else have I used? I used the Google Calendars. Didn't see a whole lot out of that.
Hey, Clint, FYI, what we found out in one of the new Google updates is that they're changing the way that they actually look at calendars, and we're going to start to see, in our opinion, from our research, that they're going to become a lot more powerful pretty soon.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Most of the tools, if you want to do them in any of these languages, you can just change the language or one or all of them also.
Yeah, the translation function is awesome, especially if you're targeting different. If you can support and target different markets, that's great. That thing's perfect. Buyer beware though. If you plug in that translation thing and you go nuts, you're going to get a bill.
Yeah, you will. You have to be somewhere.
So just know that's pretty expensive. So use that with extreme caution. But pretty much everything else is good. I think like my Amazon bill is like $33 a month.
Yeah, not much, right? Enough for the power that you get out of it.
Yeah, but I got a lot of stuff in there. So.
Well, the other thing, that I don't know how you use it, but a lot of our members are using G sites as their buffer site.
Yeah, they are. I don't. To me, this is a usability issue for me. I think it's faster for me to use. You can build G sites in here. You get that G sites tab. To me, it's just faster to build the new ones without using this.
Well, Google
will screw with the interface and change that anyway.
It boils down to the level of capability, right?
Yeah.
So,
but this will allow you to create your G sites and your multiple pages, especially if you follow Marco and how he uses that stuff in RYS. This kind of speeds that whole process up a little bit, but it just depends on your familiarity with G sites. If you're not familiar with G sites, you don't know how to make them, then by all means, then use this. It's going to be faster for sure than trying to learn something new. So that's what I think would be cool. Let me get us some questions in here. And the biggest one was, what's the difference between RYS stacks and RFR? If you guys don't know, RYS stacks, rank your shit stacks, is essentially the Google stacks coined by semantic mastery folks. And that's the process of using all these things that you see in here combined to make essentially like a super backlink from that stack to promote and rank your stuff. And your tool is just, you're taking on that concept, right? And you're just trying to make it a little bit easier for everyone to navigate that process.
It's just automating the process. And when we throw in the cloud stacks, of course, it's not just Google properties. It adds those other properties in also. But most of the tool is geared towards, as you can see, towards Google properties and stacking them up. So because of the way this tool works, you can stack in any order you want. If you use Rank Your Shit, they've got a particular order they prefer, and you can do that in here, or you can, play around with it and find something that you like better or that maybe works better for you.
I think one of the other things that I found, Clint, is, that's a very linear environment that you're playing in. And when you're within Ranking Factory, you have all these variables, right? And one of the things that we get a lot of time, well, what's the recipe? RYS is a recipe, right? It's very linear. Within here, you can do this and do that, and you can mix and match and create all kinds of different recipes that work for you. And to me, I just find it more flexible, but there's power in them, their heels. Either way, there's power in what we do. There's power in what they do, and they've created a brilliant environment. So I think that would be the basic difference, is that we have a lot of flexibility to do a lot of different things, and within their platform, it's like A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and some people like that better.
Yep. Question from Dorian: is one account per cloud type with multiple buckets enough, or should you have multiple accounts?
That's a personal thing. I've got a couple Google Cloud accounts, a couple Microsoft. You can have, like with Amazon, when you start out with your Amazon Cloud account, they give you 100 buckets, and each bucket can contain, terabytes really of data. But if 100 buckets isn't enough, you can drop them a little note and said, can you give me some more? And they'll say, how many do you want? And you say a couple hundred, they'll give you a couple hundred more. They don't care. You're paying to use the space, and it's up to you. It's not unlike your Google Drive. It's your space to use as you like.
Well, I think his question is more focused on, do I put locksmiths with rehabs that can affect the relevance of the links?
Right, and that's the reason with the different buckets. I don't think you can name your buckets whatever you want, and you can segment your buckets. Okay, this is my locksmith bucket. This is my chiropractor bucket, and this is my dentist bucket if you want. Or even more so, this is my chiropractor in Dallas bucket. This is the one in Houston, and this is the one in San Antonio. But you don't need another Amazon account to do that, or another of any of the cloud accounts.
Makes sense.
Right. I think you just use the different buckets. And Terry, if you pull up your RFR software, you can show everybody like how we can add multiple accounts in there. When you go
I would, but then they'll see all my accounts.
Well, I just wanted to show you don't have to open up the accounts, but if you click that button, you can add as many Google accounts in there as you want, is my point. So that
you can have a lot of Gmail accounts.
Yeah, there's no limit, and it's all API.
It's the same the other ones too, right? You can add different API keys. So yeah. If you feel like if you got more than 100 and you don't feel like emailing them and you want to start a new account, then go for it. But otherwise, it's not necessary.
Exactly. But the nice thing, it's all in one place, so you only have to go one place to do all of the work for all of your customers, clients, or your own sites.
Yeah.
And once you get your Google APIs, your APIs for your URL shorteners, all that same API, the APIs are connected to the software. So it doesn't matter what account you're in, it's still using that same API. You don't have to go get a different API for each Gmail or any of that stuff.
Cool.
And I think Google realizes there's agencies out there that have more than one client, more than one Gmail they use. They don't care.
Yeah. I think as long as you're paying Google some money, they're happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that the power of these will go away? Do you anticipate that? Or obviously that the question has to be asked. I don't think it's going away anytime soon, but what is the longevity of the method? The more you promote the tool and you say, hey, well, we're doing these things, do you think it's something that could be corrected anytime soon?
Well, here's basically an answer to some of that question, right? And I'll just go to a different product called our GMB poster product, right? When Google gives us an API and they tell us that within that API, you can do 4 posts a day for your Google My Business, then if you do 4 posts a day, it doesn't matter if 50 million people are doing 4 posts a day. That's part of their API. That's part of their process. That's part of their playground that they're saying, you can go up to that fence, but don't go over that fence, children, because you'll be in the street, right? So with all of the things that we do and we create, we're always playing within that API TOS box. We're not doing anything outside of it. Now, when we take one Google property and we add it to another Google property like RYS or what we're doing, we're still always playing within that sandbox of those terms. And we're not trying to abuse it. If we're making 100,000 sheet links, well, okay, that's because Google says we can do it. And if they didn't, they would put restrictions on us. So does that maybe kind of answer the question? If 1 million people are using this and it's all part of the rules, what's the problem?
What would be your response to the question? Is this white hat, gray hat, black hat link building?
Yes.
I can respond to that very simply. It's no hat. It's what Google allows us to do. Color it any which way you want.
Okay.
Would you agree?
Yeah, well, the reason I liked asking that question, especially when you come in from a link building perspective, is local business owners they're inundated with this. It's kind of, to me, it's like a morality. Oh, you're immoral if you're building these links. You're a black hat. And at the end of the day, though, is it true? And I think it's turning into a selling point more than reality. I only do white hat SEO, and we're going to create great content, and we're going to promote it. Well, how are you going to promote it? Oh, we're going to build links everywhere. So now you're a black hat.
I've always found
right? I mean, doesn't Google say linking is important to ranking, correct?
Exactly. So
Well, I've always found you got to let the business decide. You explain the risks, you make sure they make an educated choice. But if that business is telling you, hey, we lost our rankings last month and we're going to be out of business next month, right, what are some Hail Marys we can do? I mean, pull out the Hail Marys.
Well, let me kind of address that real quick, okay? And Clint, we've gone over this before in a number of different ways, but especially like, if you take what Terry just shared with you in sheets to build links and anchor text sheets, right? That's technically not a backlink. It's your property on the Google Drive that Google gave you to hold your content, correct?
Yeah. And it's not your fault that Google's reading it.
The only thing that I did is open up the link that published it so that other people could see it. So you see all these links. These are on your hard drive.
Yeah. Now, when Google finds a pattern under manual review, they can say that these look suspicious, and it's totally subjective. But yet you just have to explain to the business owner that that's a possibility. As long as you understand, I'm willing to try and help you in this time frame, and these are kind of the levers we can pull. Just let the business decide what risk they're comfortable with.
So Ted, one of the other things and Clint, answer this with me as well. You go out and you build MRs. You go out and build SEO you go out and build PBNs. How do you eliminate them when they're out in space? Because all of a sudden you screwed up, they build too many, whatever, and your site tanks. How do you get rid of those links?
Well, you go through an intermediate page. So you have your tier 2, and if the sky falls, then you delete your tier 2s that you control.
It's a process, is my point, right?
Exactly.
All we have to do is delete that page and it's all gone.
Well, yeah. I mean, never make a mess you can't clean up. And that's part of how you can mitigate the risk, and you explain that to your customers, and you let them decide. You don't take a risk without them knowing. You say, here's what we can do, here's the risk.
I agree with you. Yeah. So with this process, all you do is go to unpublish, and they're not published anymore, and then that power kind of drifts away, is my point.
And that's a huge thing. And, that's a big selling point, that these can be cleaned up at any time you change your mind.
Instantly.
Yeah.
And they can be
you can simply make them not public.
You can just
make them not public and then turn them back off and on as you wish.
Just change the anchor text to the keywords, and then all of a sudden that power goes to another company when somebody stops paying you.
And there you go. That's a big bullet point right there.
Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to just bring that up by sharing with that there is safety catches in here, and it's a pretty easy safety catch if things do go south. Like, we had a guy on his site build, I think, 1 million backlinks utilizing this system, and he went from number 1 to number 90. He just deleted them all, and 3 days later he's back to number 1.
I would ask if you're number 1, why were you building 1 million backlinks anyway?
It was a test site.
And Clint, you know this because you're a part of it, but the Skype group that supports this software is pretty impressive. It's fairly active, and the people that are in your Cora and Pop Skype group know how good an active Skype group can be as an asset, and it's a great resource to. There's the same kind of busy Skype groups for the RFR software.
Yeah. But, I don't like endorsing Skype groups. If I could burn Skype with fire, I would, but I have to use a stupid thing. I got like 3 copies of it running with 3 different accounts. It's so horrible. But yeah, the Skype group puts out some good information, and that leads into one of probably the last question. Well, second to last is, does RFR have any training to go along with it? So if I buy it, is there going to be support behind the back end of that?
Yes, we have a Google document, and we have all of the training videos for all of the modules in there. I'll answer one question right now that people who are new that come in and says, okay, this is great. What's the recipe? Well, I think if you look at that menu bar on the top, you'll notice that there's a lot of different things that you can do. We just recommended everybody start with the one, learn it, go to the next one, learn it, go to the next one, and then you become your own professional recipe maker and cake builder by seeing what you use, what you like, because you don't use them all yourself, right, Clint?
No, I mainly use the Cloud Stacker.
Yeah, so there's things that that are comfortable to you, and so just put that on the table at the beginning. There isn't go to A, go to B, go to C, go to D. It's learn it, what's comfortable, and you'll get results.
I think it's a point for any tool, whether it be Cora, Page Optimizer Pro, RFR. It's their tools, and you got to have your own method to use them. If you don't develop and take the time to develop a method, then you're gonna fail. They're not one is a magic bullet. So I wish there was. If there was a magic bullet, I would probably make it and then not tell anybody and disappear off the internet.
That's why I think the culture within the Skype group is good for new people that come in, because they're used to people coming in and asking questions, and they're more than ready to pounce on you with answers to try to help you out. And it's one of the reasons we don't have a support desk. We don't need one.
Yeah.
The
final question was, can you export a zip file, the accounts from one software, let's say RFR, into the Backlink Factory or GME?
What do you mean by the Gmail accounts that you're setting up?
Yeah.
Yes. You can just export to Gmail from any one of our softwares and import it to the other one, and all those accounts will follow, and you won't have to go through the process of approval and API.
Perfect. If there are any more questions in regards to RFR or Cloud Stacks, go ahead. Now's a good time to do that. Well, Patrick, while those come in, if any do come in, Patrick, go ahead, tell everyone you got the new offer, 30-day free trial, or $1.
The quote is $1, BUCK, $1.
$1. Yeah, let everyone know where they can find you, where they can get that information.
Well, you have to put your link up there. I don't know what it is.
Oh, I'm not going to give them my affiliate links. Tell them where to find you.
Oh, that's rankingfactory.net.
Rankingfactory.net. No, all your tools are on that website, right?
Not all the tools are on there, no.
Okay.
Just that specifically.
Right. Perfect. And then just for other people you may not know, Gary Afron is the third member of the Madness crew, but you guys are running a mastermind where you have access to some other stuff like Traffic Factory and all that other stuff too. So if you don't see it on Ranking Factory, you just want to start out with Ranking Factory, talk to Patrick, and my recommendation is go ahead and get the I would get the mastermind, so you get access to all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a personal conversation that we have to have. But if you're asking where all the tools are, they're at therankingstore.com.
Ranking store, yeah. And in there you'll see the GMB poster, Backlinks Factory. Backlinks Factory, probably out of all of them, is the easiest. And then the GMB poster is pretty cool.
Yeah, the authority checker, the rip-off report, the business leads finder, all the other backlink factory, all the other ones we have there.
Perfect. Yep. So
cool.
Again, so he's at the mastermind. So if you want that, check him out there. And with that, there's no more questions. So
awesome.
Let's see. And Scott Rogers.
Remember, $1 BUCK. The number 1 BUCK. And that'll bring you down to $1 for 30 days to try us out.
That'd be perfect. It's more than well worth it. And if anything, you build 1 million backlinks with it. Tell them you don't want it no more. Just don't do that.
Also, the thing is, you could build 1 million backlinks for $1. Thanks, Clint.
Hey.
If you have issues with using it, look me up and I'll walk you through something too. I don't mind.
Yeah, perfect. All right, guys. Thank you very much. This has been episode 124 of SEO This Week, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Thanks, Clint. Appreciate it.
Thanks.